Hello, everyone. Welcome to another phonetics lesson here at Study English with Us. Today, I have a very special guest with me to help me teach you the rules of vowels. This is An, my beautiful daughter, and she's home from school today, as I'm sure that your children are probably home from school as well because of the coronavirus outbreak, right? Are you happy to be at home from school?
Yes.
Yes? But don't you kind of miss your friends?
No.
No, you don't miss your friends at all? Well, we're so glad that you have joined us today, and we hope that you will have fun learning some rules of how to pronounce the English vowels, when to make them short sounds, when to make them long sounds. And people who are learning English for the first time are always just a little bit confused when they're reading an English book. How do I pronounce the A and the E here? Should it be the long sound or should it be the short sound? And fortunately, there are some rules. And so let's take a look at those today. Now, of course, in almost every circumstance in life and in language, whenever there's a rule, there will be exceptions to the rule. But rules help us learn. And when we talk about the English vowel rules, this is kind of a guideline. Sometimes there'll be exceptions to the rules, but in most cases, we'll be able to follow these rules and know how to pronounce words when we see them for the first time. Now, last lesson, let's just do a quick review. We learned that every vowel has a long sound and a short sound. And if we were to go back and take a look at the vowels here, A, E, I, O, U, when you learned the English alphabet, you also learned the long sound of the vowel. So if you ever want to know what the long sound of any vowel is, just remember what you learned when you learned the English alphabet. It's A, E, I, O, U for the long sounds. But what about the short sounds? Let's just do a quick review here from last lesson. Here's the short sound for A. Maybe Anan, you can help us.
Apple.
Apple is right. Apple. And?
Elephant.
Elephant, yes. That's the short E sound. Elephant. What have we got here?
Igloo.
And that's the I. The short sound of I is I. What have we got here, Anan?
Octopus.
An octopus. Now, the O, the long sound is O, but the short sound is octopus. And?
Umbrella.
That's right. Did you bring your umbrella today?
No.
Here it is, The short sound for U is But we come back to the question, how do we know when to use the long sound? How do we know when to use the short sound? So let's take a look at some rules. The first one, here, before we get to the rules, one fun fact about vowels that you should know, and that is that the short vowel sounds that we just learned, or just reviewed, are actually the most common sound for that letter. For any A, E, I, O, or U, when you see it in a word, most of the time it's going to take the short sound. But when do you use the long sound? Do you know these rules? I think Anna's just recently learned some of these rules at her school, right? Let's take a look at the first rule. The magic E rule. What's the magic E rule, Anna?
It's at the end.
When a word has an E at the end, the preceding vowel will use the long sound. Let's take a look at some examples. the A in
Cake.
cake. Because of the E at the end of the word, that lets you know that the A, or the preceding vowel, should be pronounced using its long sound. K-A, K-K. And it's interesting that usually the E will be silent, right? Cake. You don't say cakey, right? There's no cakey, it's just cake. So the E is silent. Here's another one.
Vase.
Vase. That's right. Now, some countries, or even some people in Canada, will pronounce this vase using the short sound of the A, va-ah-ah-ah, rather than vase, using the long sound. So if we wanted to know who's pronouncing it right, it's hard to tell because different countries have developed different ways. But in most cases, when you see the E at the end, what happens to the preceding vowel?
It turns into a long A.
Yeah, that's right. So if we want to follow the rules, we would pronounce this vase instead of vase like some people do. So, next rule. Oh, this is a fun one. When two vowels go walking, what happens, An?
The first one does the talking.
Yes. When two vowels go walking together, the first one does the talking, and what happens to the second one? It's just silent, right? Even though it's there, we don't hear it at all. Let's take a look at some examples. Oh, not only is the first one do the talking, and the second one is silent, what else is happening? The vowel takes what sound? The long or the short?
Long.
That's right. It takes the long sound. So whenever we see this, where we've got two vowels right next to each other, they're walking together, the first one does the talking, the second one is silent, and the first one takes the long sound. What have we got here? Did you say it?
Rain.
Rain. So we've got the A sound, in a long form, the long sound of A, rain, but no real I sound, right? It's not rain. It's just rain. All right, I think we have another one. Oh yes, what's this one, Anan?
Made.
Made. Made. So we hear that long A in there, made. We don't hear much of an I there, just the D, made. So when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking, and the second one is silent. The first one takes the long sound. All right, another rule. This one is called the open syllable rule. Do you want to tell us what this rule is, Anand?
If a vowel is at the end of a syllable, it usually takes the long sound.
Okay. Yeah, if a vowel is at the end of a syllable, it usually takes a long sound. Let's take a look at some examples of that. Here is a two-syllable word. It doesn't really look like it because it's so short, right? Acorn, but it is. It's two syllables. A, corn. A, corn. There's two syllables there. And when the A is at the end of any syllable, it takes the long sound, right? So let's look at it. How do we say this? Say it again for us, Anand.
Acorn.
That's right. It's A, the long A sound. Acorn. I think we have another example here. Yeah.
Table.
Table. Right. The long A, because it's at the end of a syllable, right? Te is the first syllable. Bull is the second syllable. So a two-syllable word where the vowel is at the end of any syllable, it takes the long sound. All right, so that helps us know when we should use the long sound. What about some rules to help us know when to use the short sound. Have you learned any rules like that at school?
No.
No, you haven't? Okay, well, I found some, and so let's learn them together. When there's only one vowel in a word, either at the beginning or between two consonants, it usually takes the short sound, like
Hat.
hat. So, what's the rule? When there's only one vowel in a word, whether it's at the beginning or between two consonants, it usually takes the short sound. And that's what happens here, right? It's not hate, it's hat. Hat. What about this word?
Fan.
It's not feign, right? It's and so that's a good rule to learn. If there's just one vowel in a word, either at the beginning or between two consonants, it usually takes that short sound. Here's another one. If you see a word that has two consonants in it, a double consonant we call it, that means that the vowel will usually take the short sound. Let's look at some examples.
Ballot.
Ballot. Whenever you see a double consonant, know that you should be using the short sound for the vowel. Here's another example.
Wall.
Wall. Where's the double consonants, Anand?
At the end.
Yeah, the two L's, right? So because of the double consonants, what's going to happen to the vowel?
It is the short sound.
Yeah, it's going to be the short sound. That's right. Do we have one more rule? Oh, the end of word rule. If a vowel is followed by a single consonant at the end of a word, the vowel will take the short sound. So if you ever see a vowel followed by just a single consonant, and that single consonant is at the end of the word, then the vowel is going to be short, not long. So, what do we have here?
Cat.
Cat, right? Cat. And
Fat.
fat. At. Fat. It's not fate, it's fat. If we put an E at the end of this word, then it would be fate, right? The vowel would be long and the E would be silent, but we would know that we pronounce it in a long form rather than a short sound because of the magic E, right, at the end of the word. Remember the magic E rule? If there's an E at the end, we pronounce it long, fate. But this doesn't have the magic E, so it is going to be fat. We know that because the consonant is at the end of the word. All right, well, I believe that does it for this lesson. Thank you, An, for helping us today. And we hope that you will start some kind of a learning program here at school or here at home. I wonder what you are doing with your children now that they're home from school. What kind of lessons are they taking as they stay at home? Let us know in the comments below how your children are learning at home. We need some ideas. Maybe we can take some online lessons. We're thinking of getting a typing program so Anand can learn keyboarding. We're doing some drawing, right? You're writing some journals. You're doing some things, right? Yeah. And I think we'll come up with some more ideas, especially if you help us. Let us know what your students are doing as they stay home and self-isolate during this coronavirus pandemic. So long for now. We'll see you in our next lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to be learning, I think, the 7 sounds of A. Yes, 7 sounds of A in our next phonetics lesson. So stay tuned for that. But bye for now.
Bye.